Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
You know what? Just surprise me. Give me whatever you want, but never give me anything related to New York City. Ever.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. Sorry for my New York City hate. Today we're going to talk about reasons why I do not want to go because of two crimes that we're going to discuss.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy visiting New York City. So many cool things to see, so much history there, so much entertainment there. But the last week for me has been 2 weeks, I guess. Have been pretty rough in what I'm seeing out of New York. Obviously, we're not going to talk about the death of Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare today, because people don't like it when we do that. But we are going to talk about a crime that was committed just earlier this week on Sunday morning on a stationary F train at the Coney Island-Stillwell Avenue subway station. John, there was a woman who had been resting down there. And what happened to her?
Well, police said that around 7:30 local time, there was a man who approached this woman, and the victim was motionless when he set her on fire. But the detectives were still establishing whether or not she was asleep or not. They said they're not 100% sure, but there was apparently no interaction between the suspect and the perpetrator, the suspect and the victim. This is one of the most disturbing things I've ever heard of.
It is. And she was alive when she was set on fire, to be clear. We don't know if she was asleep or not, but she was alive. But she did later die as a result of this attack. And John, there were some teenagers down there that saw it happening and went and called the police. And then they ended up radioing down to get help, but the help arrived too late. They said that they had seen a man who was wearing pretty much all black, and they ended up seeing a guy that was riding the F train that seemed to be wearing those same clothes.
Like they didn't know this at the time, but they have made an arrest, and the officers responded. Dude, the suspect stayed at the scene and was sitting on a bench on the platform just outside of the train car, so he could basically watch the reaction to what he had just done.
Yeah, this wasn't a robbery. This wasn't a sexual assault. You have to wonder what kind of motive there was here to do something like that. It seems, like you said, just to commit a heinous act and then just to watch it. There's an interview I found from an individual that's been sleeping in the subways for years, and he said the trains are getting more dangerous. I got hit in the head a couple of years back, and he said sleeping on a train or in the train station is a very, very dangerous thing to do, and it's more dangerous by the day. And the Coney Island station is pretty far out of the way. It's not downtown Manhattan, right? So it's tough to have a presence there of authorities to deter things like this.
This person was an illegal immigrant, and he had been previously deported and was back in the United States. So yeah, just a crazy, disturbing case out of New York City. Jamie, I want to call this one done, but you had a personal issue in New York City. Is that something you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah, my family just a couple weeks ago ended up that some family members of mine went to New York City, and while they were out sightseeing, they were in kind of a food court. And this individual who appeared to be unhomed came up and essentially pressed his body against a family member of mine and looked very sadistically at the other family members. There was a man nearby of, I think, Middle Eastern descent. My family said they could not understand him. But when he saw what was happening, he stepped over and got between this man and my family and said, "My family," in English.
Yeah.
And those are the only English words he said. And he kept saying my family until this person who just sit and glared at my family threateningly until that man finally walked away. So obviously that I've been very uneasy ever since. I will never send them without me again. So it just goes to show that things everywhere are becoming more and more violent. And there was also a stabbing on the subway in New York recently. So a lot going on there. Also, if anybody hears this, then knows this guy that stepped in to help my family, big thank you. I mean, I can't thank you enough for potentially protecting my family from various types of physical and emotional harm. It was still traumatic for them, but this guy really saved the day. Have no idea who he is or where to find him. I don't know that he speaks a lot of English, so he probably doesn't listen to the podcast, but thank you very much if you are the one who said my family about my family. That means a lot.
Yeah. Guys, look out for each other. Be aware. Stay off your phones, because God, if that man or his family would have been just looking at their phones, not paying attention, who knows what would have happened. But
and they certainly could have just sat there too. Like he went into action, and I'll never be more grateful than I am for that.
Statistics show that he was an outlier. Most people would have just sat back and watched and assumed that someone else would have helped, but he was the man who took action.
I used to do green dot training, which is about bystander intervention, and this man executed this perfectly. Don't know that he's had the green dot training, but he saw a red dot, he intervened, and everybody was safe because of it. So, yeah, let's help each other. It's the holiday season. I know Christmas was just a few days ago, but that doesn't mean we have to stop showing holiday cheer to take care of our fellow citizens and our neighbors.
Yep. Guys, we appreciate you, and hope you have a great holiday season.
This has been a crime story or two in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.